Alright, this is Jason with the Primal Outdoors channel, and tonight we're going to be doing another cast iron cooking video. This time we're going to be doing a recipe that I kind of came up with myself, but I really love it and I'm going to share it with you guys tonight. Alright, well, so when I'm cooking a meal like this, I like to pre-prepare everything at home. So what I've got here is a couple pork chops. They were fairly small pork chops, so I picked two of them and I cut them up fairly small. I also have about a little over half of cube of butter. And then in this bag I have several different ingredients. I have a complete serrano pepper cut up. I have 3 garlic cloves minced up. I love garlic, so that's why there's 3. Maybe you don't want that many. I also have about a half an onion cut up in here. And then I've got about a half a cup or more of finely chopped broccoli and finely chopped cauliflower. So of each about a half a cup. And then I've got about a half a cup of mushrooms and a half can or so of black beans in here. So that is all the vegetable ingredients. And then the last ingredient that I add is coconut milk. This is 100% coconut, unsweetened. You can get this at most grocery stores. You can either find it in cans, or this is the Silk brand, but it's they've got several different versions of it, so make sure that at least for this particular recipe that I am using the unsweetened. So first thing I'm going to do is I've already got my cast iron skillet in the fire, and it's all heated up. So we're just going to throw our meat in there as our first thing. And I'm going to use my stainless steel spatula and go ahead and just stir that around and let that brown a little bit inside the pan. Alright, so now that that's browned up a little bit, the next thing I'm going to do is add the butter. And like I said, this is about a little over half a cube of butter, and I kind of cut it up into smaller chunks just so that it will melt a little faster. And I'm just going to stir that around a little bit. Go ahead and break these cubes up a little bit. Get that stirred around nice. Oops, got a little escapee. Now when I'm at home, sometimes instead of the butter, I use bacon grease. So, but just for ease for camping, I'm using butter, and I'm using, 100% real butter. Don't use margarine or any weird thing like that. So now that butter's fairly melted up, I'm gonna go ahead and add the big bag of ingredients. Now again, if I was at home, sometimes I'll add these ingredients in layers. So I'd put the serranos, onions, and garlic in first and let that cook a little bit, and then add in the rest of the vegetables and then make my mushrooms last. But since I'm camping and I want everything to be as easy as possible, I just threw it all in one bag and we're just gonna dump it all in at once. Hopefully it all fits in there. That is a lot, but it will cook down. So I am just going to let that kind of cook a little bit. We'll stir it real easy so that we don't lose half of it. So now I'm just going to kind of stir this around, try to get it all coated in butter. And once it cooks down a little bit, then I'll add the coconut milk. Alright, so I've been stirring this stuff around a little bit, and it's starting to kind of cook down and fit in the pan a little better. Like I said, at home I would probably add these ingredients a little bit at a time. And I could have done that here as well if I could have separated certain ingredients out in different bags and then kind of added them as I went along, but I was being a little lazy and I just put everything in one bag and called it a day. But now that we're kind of getting this cooked down and it is starting to fit, I am going to add, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add the coconut milk. Now I've got probably a little over a cup, or half a cup, I'm sorry, a little over half a cup of coconut milk here. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in. It's a little frozen. Like I said, it's been pretty cold here today, so it's a little bit frozen. Get it all out here, all the ice chunks. Okay. All right, so now that I've got the coconut milk in, I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt and pepper. So in these two containers here, I've got salt and pepper. And I do like a lot of pepper, so I'm gonna chunk that in there. But remember, you have a Serrano in there as it is, so it's already gonna be pretty heated up. And then I'll add probably about, and this is to your taste, of course, salt and pepper, but I'll add probably a teaspoon or so of salt to it. There's nothing else in there that has salt added to it already, so let's go ahead and add as much salt as you feel that you want. But at this point now, I'll just continue to kind of stir it around and let it simmer and let that coconut milk, I want it to kind of cook down a little bit. It's usually pretty runny, and once it's kind of cooked down, it'll kind of thicken up into a decent little sauce, and it's super, super, super good. Just kind of stir it around. But yeah, at this point, I'll probably let it sit in here for about 15 minutes or so and just let it simmer. All right, so I've just been continuing to stir this, and it's getting to the point where I want it to be. It's been about 10-15 minutes, and I've had to kind of continue to adjust my fire and adjust the coals and everything to keep heat underneath the pan. But the more coconut milk you put in it, the longer it'll take to cook. And you want to make sure the coconut milk pretty much cooks down. You don't want it to be, it should not look soupy. It should look nice and creamy, like this. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and remove this from the fire, because it's all cooked now. The coconut milk is now made just a nice creamy sauce, and I'm going to let it just kind of set off to the side here outside of the fire, and I'm just going to kind of continue to stir it a little bit and let it cool. But it's looking really, really good. Now what I'll do is I'll put all the ingredients for this down in the description so that you guys can, if you guys do want to try to recreate this, you can look down there to find everything that you need and rough estimates of how much I put of everything in there. Of course, it's a cast iron skillet creation, so feel free to add or take away anything that you want to. But this is one of my, like I said, one of my very favorite meals. It's super good, and I eat it a lot at home. And like I said, I like to pre-prepare and come out here and have a little bit out here as well. But anyways, we'll just scoop some up inside my bowl here. Okay. Where'd my spoon go? There it is. Okay. How did we do? So good. The first time I made this, I did not, the coconut milk was an experiment. I had no idea. And in fact, I thought maybe I'd end up throwing the food away because it was going to taste horrible. But man, I tell you what, it makes the best sauce. I just absolutely love it. Now, like I said, I use pork in this, but you can use anything that you want. Am I still recording? Okay, good. All right, guys, so like I said, look down in the description if you want to see the ingredients. But I'm going to finish eating this. And if you guys like this video, you know, please give me a like. Got any comments or suggestions, I'll like to see those. If you're enjoying this type of content and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And I'll see you guys again outside.